As of this recording, I have over 100 videos on this channel. I'm quite proud of myself. And while my output ebbs and flows due to, well, a whole lot of things, I always love talking about movies. Film is a medium that is indelibly linked to my personality. Now, certainly my love for it doesn't define me, but I very much look at life in cinematic terms. I think I always have. But it never occurred to me how true that was until the summer of 2001. My brother and I used to make it a regular event to go to Blockbuster and rent movies on the weekend. We typically would have an idea of what we wanted to take out, but in this particular instance, we didn't. So my brother decided to pick a movie called Almost Famous. It had come out the year before, and there had been a lot of buzz about the actress Kate Hudson having her big break from it. It was a movie about a kid who lands a job at Rolling Stone and goes touring with a rock band. Didn't sound very appealing to me, but my brother was paying, so we took it home. We go home, head downstairs, pop it into our VCR. We used to have this big brown sectional sofa. It was like L-shaped, and we both could sprawl across it, watch TV, I play video games, whatever. I loved that couch. I miss it. But anyway, the movie starts up. Opening credits are being written down on yellow notepaper, and there's these occasional shots of odds and ends that are collected from traveling across the country. After that, the movie gets rolling. It didn't grab me right away. It was set in the early 70s. It was about music, which I really didn't have much interest in. It really wasn't the type of film I normally would gravitate toward. But then enters Penny Lane, this young, pretty, mysterious girl, a muse. And as she sort of invites the main character, William, into this world of music, she was inviting me too. And we follow William into this world that's full of sex, drugs, rock and roll. But it's more than that. It's also first love. It's betrayal. It's friendship. It's integrity. It's reconciliation. It's the love of music. Beauty of music. Almost Famous is a film that's very important to me. And for the 5 days that I had rented that film, I watched it every day. And at the time, I don't know that I could quite put my finger on all the reasons which it connected with me. The most obvious one was that I was quite enamored with Kate Hudson, or more specifically Penny Lane. I was obsessed with her for a good 2, maybe 3 years. I still have this. I got a picture of her as a Christmas present from my sister that year. I have no idea why I still have this. It was just stored away, and I don't even know how to get rid of it. Like, am I supposed to sell this? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. But even now, more than, 20 years later, I still regard Almost Famous as one of my absolute favorite films. Here you have a fictional story that contained autobiographical elements from the director, Cameron Crowe. And it was the first time that I saw film as a tool for self-expression. Like a diary, but not so much focused on facts, but truths. And as someone who was a young teen and an introvert dealing with insecurities and depression, I saw the potential of being able to tell people how I felt and how I looked at the world and bury that under a story, because I had trouble communicating verbally. So at age 12, I decided that I wanted to be a director and a screenwriter. And that was a dream that followed me all the way through graduation and into film school, where it quickly got squashed. But that's a story for another time. Another thing that Almost Famous contributed to my life was a love of music. Up to that point, I had little to no interest. I mean, sure, there were a few songs that clicked with me, and I even played saxophone in the school band, but music wasn't something I had much passion for. After I watched this movie, I listened to Led Zeppelin constantly. I would listen to The Who. The song Feel Flows by the Beach Boys, which plays over the credits, I was obsessed with it. I hunted that track down and listened to it over and over and over and over and over. And I had no idea that it would end up leading me to become a huge fan of the Beach Boys a decade after. So the 60s and 70s became the era of rock and roll that I loved, and I still do. And it even got me interested in singing and writing lyrics. And I won't say that I'm great at either, but this movie lit a fire in me that I didn't have before. My channel focuses on reviewing movies. Now, this video obviously isn't a review. It's about the effect that one movie had on me. I don't think it's an overestimation to say that this channel wouldn't exist without it. Now, that's not to say that Almost Famous is for everyone. It's a strong R-rated film, so the content would be a turnoff for a lot of people. Certainly, I would not let my 12-year-old watch it. That just happened to be my brother's call at the time, but I turned out okay. And there are people I know where the appeal is completely lost on them. I think primarily people who aren't musicians, which I find ironic given where I was at the time of my first viewing. And I don't think a single person I met in film school had ever seen it that I can recall. But that's the thing. I mean, the enjoyment of art, it can be a deeply personal, even intimate experience. Different movies click with different people, and I find that fascinating, and it's why I love film. It's a beautiful thing.